Have you ever wondered if there's still a place on Earth where ancient kingdoms, jaw-dropping landscape, and wild nightlife all come together in one crazy package? What if I told you such a place actually exists, and barely anyone's talking about it? Welcome to Georgia. No, not the American state. I'm talking about the country tucked between the rugged Caucasus Mountains and the crashing waves of the Black Sea. It's the kind of place that feels like a fantasy, with medieval castle, mind-blowing food, chaotic beaches, and a vibe that's equal parts hospitality and rebellion. Georgia sits right between Russia to the north and Turkey, Armenia, and Azerbaijan to the south. It's not a big country, roughly the size of West Virginia, but it's packed with history and mystery. Around 4 million people live here, and the capital city is Tbilisi, chaotic blend of old-world charm and modern energy. The official language is Georgian, locally called Kartuli, and it's one of the oldest languages still spoken today. In fact, UNESCO considers it so unique that it's protected as an intangible cultural heritage. Georgia's roots go way back to kingdoms like ancient Iberia and Colchis. Over centuries, they've been conquered by empire, Roman, Persians, Arabs, Ottoman, Soviets, you name it. And yet, against all odds, Georgians never gave up their identity. They held onto their language, tradition, and fierce sense of pride, even when the world around them kept changing. Now the big question, is Georgia really worth living in? What's it like in 2025? Is it just a great place to visit? Or could you actually build a life here? Let's break it all down. If you're planning to move here, there's one thing you should know right off the bat. English isn't exactly widespread. Sure, younger people in big cities like Tbilisi, Batumi, and Kutaisi are more fluent, especially those working in tourism or tech. But outside of that bubble, most older folks, including cab drivers, speak either Georgian or Russian. And when it comes to hospitals, banks, or government offices, it's Georgian all the way. So unless you're just visiting for a few days, learning some basic phrases in one of those languages is going to make your life way easier. But here's the twist. Despite the language barrier, the country is surprisingly tourist-friendly. Most street signs are bilingual, Georgian and English. You can navigate major cities without needing Google Translate every 5 minutes. People are used to foreigners, and they're usually eager to help, even if it means miming directions with their hands. And the people here? They've got this unmistakable look, sharp cheekbones, strong chins, and noses that tell stories of ancient bloodline. That's because many Georgians share cultural roots with people from the Black Sea region in northeastern Turkey. There's even a subgroup known as the Laz people, who form a kind of ethnic bridge between Georgia and that part of Turkey. These deep cultural ties get even more complex when you throw modern politics into the mix. Since the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022, over 300,000 Russians and Ukrainians have moved to Georgia, but not everyone's thrilled about it. In downtown Tbilisi, especially in Freedom Square, it's not uncommon to see anti-Russian protests almost every evening. It's not about individual Russian, it's more about politics and history. Georgians strongly support Ukraine's path to European integration, and they're wary of Russia's influence in the region. Still, if you come here as a traveler, entrepreneur, or student, and you bring value to the country, whether that's spending money or contributing to the culture, you're likely to be welcomed with open arms. What most people don't realize is how warm and generous Georgians are. Forget stereotypes. This is a country where strangers smile at you in the street, help you if you look lost, and might even invite you for dinner out of nowhere. And if you visit during the summer, that friendliness becomes something magical. You'll see it in the main squares of Tbilisi, where young people perform traditional dances that look like something out of a medieval battlefield. The energy is wild. It's not just a performance, it's a battle cry, a celebration of resilience, and a tribute to their ancestors. The dances aren't about impressing tourists. They're about passing on something sacred. Walk through the streets of Tbilisi, and you'll notice something unexpected. Lots of people who don't look Georgian at all. That's because in recent years, thousands of immigrants from India, Bangladesh, and the Philippines have moved to Georgia, not for tourism, but for work or study. Why? Simple. Georgia offers a more affordable alternative to other nearby countries, and it's slowly becoming a regional hub for education and remote work. let's talk money for a second. The local currency is called the lari, abbreviated as GEL. $1 equals about 3 lari, depending on the exchange rate. But here's something weird. Georgia doesn't have a nationally set minimum wage. Most people work freelance, on contract, or under the table, so salaries can vary a lot. Still, most locals earn somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 lari per month. That's around 750 to 900 bucks. Now that might sound crazy low if you're coming from the States, but the cost of living here is also much lower, especially outside the capital. Georgia's got a strong agricultural sector, so fresh fruits and veggies are insanely cheap. You'll find organic produce for prices that would blow your mind if you're used to Whole Foods. In the capital, though, it's a different story. Rent has skyrocketed, especially since the migration wave that started after 2022. A decent apartment in Tbilisi now goes for around $700 per month. That's not outrageous by New York or LA standard, but for a country where many people earned less than $1,000 a month, it's a big deal. Supply can't keep up with demand, and locals are feeling the pressure. You know what's wild? Despite all these challenges, Georgians keep smiling. Literally, it's something you feel walking down the street. There's this blend of pride and perseverance, like they've seen hard times before and aren't about to let new ones break their spirit. Oh, and if you're into cars, Georgia might be a dream come true. You can buy a used luxury car here, think Lexus or Mercedes, for about $20,000. That's for real. Fuel is also cheaper than in most of Europe, which makes owning a car way more affordable. Now, driving in Georgia is its own adventure. The country allows both left-hand and right-hand drive cars, which means traffic can get creative. Most people drive on the right side of the road, but the cars come from everywhere. Japan, Europe, you name it. So don't be surprised if things feel a little chaotic at intersection. And speaking of chaos, let's talk taxi. First, most taxis here are plain white sedan with zero branding. Second, they usually don't have meters. That means you need to negotiate the price before getting in. Don't skip this step, or you might end up paying double. A short ride within the city will cost you about 20 lari, roughly $6. A trip to the airport, around 40 lari or $15. Pro tip, just show the driver your destination on Google Maps and ask for a quote. It keeps things simple and avoids awkward misunderstanding. Georgia's economy is still developing, but one thing it thrives on is tourism and gambling. Yeah, you heard that right. The country has some of the most relaxed casino tax laws in the region. In places like Batumi and Tbilisi, casinos are everywhere. And while gamblers in other countries might pay 30% tax on their winning, here it's only around 10 to 15%. That's a massive incentive for international high rollers. The result? A steady flow of foreign cash, boosting local businesses. And if you're just looking to enjoy the country, you don't need to be a gambler. There's a ton of stuff to see and do without breaking the bank. Before we move on to Georgia's nightlife and emotional contradiction, if you're enjoying this dive into one of the most underrated countries on the planet, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I'm working solo to bring you these deep dives from places nobody talks about, and your support helps me keep going. All right, let's talk about what happens when the sun goes down. Tbilisi after dark is something else entirely. The city flips a switch, and suddenly, every corner turns into a stage. You'll see crowds gathering around street musicians, pop-up cafes buzzing with energy, and spontaneous dance battles breaking out in public squares. You don't need a ticket. You don't even need a plan. Just walk, and you'll stumble into something unforgettable. Some people sip coffee and read in candlelit cafes. Others drink local wine or craft cocktails while chatting with friends. But by midnight, the vibe shifts. The music gets louder, the lights get brighter, and the streets, they turn into a runway. Beautiful women in stunning outfits, stylish guys with effortless confidence. It's like a live fashion show that never ends. And the best part? It's not pretentious. People aren't showing off. They're just being themselves. And that natural confidence is magnetic. Georgian women, in particular, are known for their beauty and elegance, and their Slavic neighbors, especially Russian, Ukrainian girls who've moved here, only add to that. But what most people don't realize is how approachable it all feels. You don't need to be rich. You don't need a fancy car. You don't even need to speak perfect Georgian. People are open, curious, and genuinely interested in connecting. It's a kind of social energy you just don't find in many cities anymore. And then, just as quickly as it started, the party melts into quiet. The sun rises over cobblestone streets, and the city's contradiction come back into focus. Because while Tbilisi offers beauty, energy, and connection, it also carries visible struggle. On street corners and sidewalks, you'll see elderly folks, well into their 60s and 70s, selling handmade goods or offering small services, not for fun, for survival. Retirement isn't a guarantee here. Pensions are low, jobs are scarce, and many people work until they physically can't anymore. This reality hits you hard. It forces you to look past the Instagram version of Georgia and into the lives of the people who keep the city running. So what's the real story? Georgia's a paradox. It's affordable but not easy. It's ancient but wildly alive. It's full of joy and full of scars. 1 minute, you're cruising on a cable car above the glowing rooftops of Tbilisi. The next, you're watching a grandmother hustle to sell fruit in the cold. And maybe that's the magic. Georgia isn't here to impress you. It's here to move you, to challenge you, to remind you what resilience looks like and what it means to hold on to joy even when life isn't perfect. So if you ever get the chance to visit, or better yet, to live here, don't just see the castles or party in Batumi. Look deeper, talk to the people, watch the way they dance, taste the food that's been cooked the same way for generations. Feel the heartbeat of a place that refuses to be defined by anyone but itself. And if you made it this far, you already know what I'm going to say. Subscribe, like the video, drop a comment. Tell me, would you live here? Could you? This isn't just about Georgia. It's about finding meaning in the unexpected, about seeing the world beyond headlines and highlight reel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.